Welcome, everybody, to the Cincinnati Bengals Weekly Show. We're at Week 9. The Cincinnati Bengals Weekly Show is brought to you by Dr. Randall Thick, Chiropractic in Springdale, Ohio. So if you're in the Cincinnati area, you need a chiropractor, you need an orthopedic doctor, Dr. Thick's the way to go, so make sure you check him out. I'm your host for the Bengals Show, Mike Goodpaster, and right now I want to welcome in my co-host, former Bengal linebacker, Joe Kelly. How you doing, Joe?
Mike, it was a close, nail-biting weekend, but at the end of the day, in the NFL, you take victories. Victory is victory. It was I definitely didn't think it was going to be as close as it was, and we're looking at the same issues. Game in, game out, the same issues. We have three very capable running backs. No running game was established whatsoever. Andy could not get in his pass progressions because of the play of the offensive line, particularly the offensive tackles once again. But when you look at it, you take a victory. Doesn't matter who it's against. It's the NFL. You take a victory, and now you're on a 3-game road stretch. And all of these games they're winnable games, right? We can go in and you look at them, and each team poses a different challenge, but each team struggles in certain areas. We got Jacksonville, Mike, and from week to week, I don't know what Jacksonville team we're going to get. Are we going to get the Jacksonville team that beat Pittsburgh, or we're going to get the team that I think they got beat bad by Tennessee or something like that? I know one of the games they got beat pretty bad. So I don't know. It's another week in Bengal Nation, and we just hopefully that we can go out and get a win and try and get back into this playoff race.
Yeah, and I think the problem you got here, like you said, the Jaguars are hit and miss. But the one thing they're not hit and miss with is their defensive front. They've got 2 games this year where they've had 10 sacks. And as you said, the Bengals' problem is tackle to tackle. I mean, the guards, the center, they're all playing poorly. And it doesn't seem like there's any way that's going to change, especially when you're halfway through the season. And to me, they may have gotten worse instead of better, Joe.
I'm looking at it, and Mike, they have gotten worse. I guess I was wishfully, hopefully, wishing that these guys halfway through the season there would be you could be able to see increments, small increments of them getting better. But Sunday, I'm looking at Sunday, and the offense comes up. For whatever reason, I'm totally fixated on the offensive tackles because the play has been so bad, and I literally watched those guys in a 3-step drop not only get beat by the defensive end and defensive tackle, they don't even touch this guy, and it's just one move you totally whiff. So that is pretty bad on a 3-step drop that you can't get your hands on in front of a big guy. I'm not saying Von Miller. I'm saying a big guy that is the same size as you. 6'5", 310. Not the most agile, most nimble guy, and you totally whiff on him. So you were looking at a team, Jacksonville, like you said, they've had double-digit sacks in multiple games, and that's going to be the issue. That's going to decide whether or not the Bengals win or lose. There's some other issues, I think, because of the offensive line playing so poorly and 3 and out, having so many 3 and outs. I can see it is affecting the defense because our defense, even though our defense, Dunlap made a terrific play, great play, won the game for us. They gave up some plays and some drives to an Indianapolis Colts offense that, to me, was an inept offense. Really didn't do a lot against the majority of teams that they've already played. But their offense kept them in this Bengal game all Sunday.
Yeah, and you also had the injuries on the defense. It looks like Kevin Minter may miss this game. But one thing I do find interesting is there's been reports that Vontaze Burfict has been playing middle linebacker a little bit, and actually that's something I would have liked to see him do from day one with Burfict.
Yeah, I mean, I think with his mentality, Mike, is a middle linebacking mentality. You know, he played that at Arizona State. I think he's capable of being either wheel or the Mike backer. But I think being in the middle will put him in the middle of action and getting closer. Whether or not he can make plays to the left, make plays to his right. As opposed to playing outside and, you're trying to, chase a play down that runs goes away from you. So, I think that, he's at the end of the day, Mike, he's the heart and soul of the Bengal, not only their offense, he's of the defense, he's the heart and soul of their team. And I think he's that pulse that that they need, and they're gonna need him to come up big with Minter being out another week.
Yeah, especially when you look at the Jaguars' running game with Leonard Fournette. And my thing with Burfict is I don't think he has played as well the last couple of weeks as he was before.
No, he I think you partially he has to get into shape. You're seeing him getting a little fatigued. But he's moving around, trying. I think, to me, I'm looking at it, and it's conditioning. I see some conditioning because he's still making plays, but I see him bending over a lot, seeing him at the timeout taking a knee and really breathing really hard. But at the end of the day, I'll take that guy at 75% than most of the linebackers in this league. But you look at our defensive line, which is our strength. Our defensive line is the strength of our defense, strength of our team. We're making plays, but there were a lot of times, we get third and short. Allowing the ball carrier. Your first contact is 2 yards, 3 yards, Mike, down the field. And next thing you know, once the pile stops moving, they're 6-7 yards down the field. We have to have a little more fight than that. We have to, fight, and play with a little more edge. So we can get those 3 and out and make those plays in short yardage situations. As well as a lot of when we get them in third and long, we're allowing them to make some plays on us. And those are the plays the first 4 or 5 weeks of the season that our defense we were stopping. So and then you look at it, Mike, when your offense is going 3 and out. That plays a part also in your team. I recall playing a lot of games, and you love when your offense, even if they don't score, if they get a long drive, you're well rested. You guys had time to sit over there and go over a lot of things, and a lot of times you go 3 and out. And if you got a guy, this guy might want to go get some water. This guy is attending to his helmet. So there's not even time really even to get together, but not any time to sit down and rest for a minute, and you're back at it. And when that happens 3-4 times throughout the game, it kind of does throw you off somewhat. And it can be demoralizing at times. When you're sitting up there and you're playing your ass off, and the offense is going out there, and they're capable, but they're 3 and out, sack here, bad play here. AJ, you can look at AJ's frustration because Andy is running around for his life, and he can't hit him on a routine 12-yard out, and the ball is coming up short at his feet, but the guy is running for his life. So it's this game is no matter what division or what level, it's a team sport. It's offense, it's defense, and it's special teams. And when those 3 elements are not clicking, the problems tend to be highlighted, and those are the things you tend to notice.
Yeah, and if you look at the Bengals' offense against the Jaguars, I think it's going to be hard for them to throw the ball. But the one thing I would like to see since he was active last week, but he only played 5 plays. I would like to see John Ross in the slot, just get him the ball and see what he can do.
I'm looking at the kid. So, obviously I'm a little biased because, he's a Husky. I'm a Husky. You dress the kid. Okay, you dress him. Okay, there hasn't been a lot of things that really bothered me that Marvin has said over the years. But when you got this guy, you have this weapon, and you dressed him out to say, okay, we're not going to play him because he's not in the game plan. To me, that was the most asinine thing I've ever heard. You dressed him. He's not in the game plan, but I'm sure he had to study the game plan. So, to me, you put this guy out who runs, he really can run a sub 4.2 and just say, hey, you run deep. And if anything, you're going to take 2 guys away from A.J. Green.
Yeah.
So to me, when you have a weapon like that, I don't care if he doesn't know the offense. You line him up and you tell him.
And the thing is this, Joe, since he's new, you may not even get a double team right now. He may be able to run 1-on-1 down the seam.
Yeah. Because right now, like I said, they haven't targeted. So, most likely, that's right, Mike. They probably most likely won't double team.
Yeah, and you hit him once, and then the next time you run him down there, A.J. Green's by himself.
Yeah, but once they see this kid, run the first 9 route, the first go route, I guarantee you they're going to have 2 people over because I guarantee you there's probably only 3 or 4 corners in this league that can stay with him. And you're talking about, and those guys that can stay with him are still going to be a half step behind him. And I'm saying that the majority of corners in this league are going to be an entire full step behind this kid if you let him go. And therefore, once you start letting this kid go, that corner is going to those hips are going to be turned, and he's heading out, and you break off to a 15-yard comeback. It's quite simple. You need another weapon. I'm just dumbfounded by the fact that you dress the kid and it's wide receiver. It's not one. It's one thing if the kid was a quarterback or you needed him or in a position where he had to get other other players in position. He plays wide receiver. So here, I'm sure you only probably have him learning maybe the X. Or he's maybe learning the Z, but I'm sure he's only learning one position right now. And I'm sure this kid by now, he went through training camp, that he has to be pretty familiar with most of the calls. And there's some calls that he's probably more comfortable than others. But I don't see how you don't get this kid involved, man.
Yeah, I know. I agree with you. Same thing we talked about when he was drafted. I mean, he made sense because of that. And then when you get him in here, it's the same thing with Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon should start. They should give him the ball. I mean, if you're going to pick these guys that high, you might as well use them. And I don't think from watching, Jeremy Hill and Joe Mixon play, I don't think there's any doubt which guy's the better running back, Joe.
Yeah. You don't know what they're doing. Okay, are you?
Yeah, I don't think they do either, though, Joe. That's the problem.
Yeah. Are you trying to appease Jeremy Hill by letting him start? You're giving the ball one time, and then he's out of the game. So if I was Jeremy Hill, I'm just as pissed because you're not allowing me, even though, I agree with you in saying, okay, I think Mixon is the better back. But you're not allowing Jeremy Hill to play either. You're there. To me, I'm looking at and I'm in the stands and I'm watching the game, and the times that they run, it is so predictable.
Yeah,
it's so predictable.
We go run on first down all the time, Joe.
I'm looking at it and I'm saying, okay, here I know that you run. I'm the Mike linebacker. I'm the Will linebacker. I'm calling out to my front seven. I'm calling the play out all day. It reminds me when we used to play the Steelers and Bubby Brister. I swear to God, you would think that Bubby Brister was telling me what the play was because he was so him and Tunch Ilkin were so you could read them so easily. At least 10 plays we know what they were doing exactly. it's so predictable. But even with mixing, you're running those. You gotta mix it up. Like you look at when you mix it up, you hit mixing with the screen. Look what happens. We're going away from putting Giovanni in isolated situations.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, Joe. Anymore, if they throw 5 screen passes, 3 of them are balls that are batted down because our offensive line is so bad we can't even run a screen pass.
Yeah. Mike, they do have a play called a draw.
I've never seen. I haven't seen them call that in forever.
Yeah, these guys are getting beat so quick. So you tell your tackles, okay, you just sit your ass and you plant inside. You let this guy beat you around the corner, and you give him one. As soon as he gets past you, you give him one big push, and you run a draw. There are plays that have been known in the game of football, Mike, for eons, years. And we're not running it, so.
Yeah, I know it can be dangerous, but I don't know that I've ever seen him run a middle screen.
No.
Just sit around or just run the running back right behind the lineman that are coming, tossing the ball and let everybody go.
Yeah, there's things that you can do when you know that you're lacking. It's our offensive tackles, are lacking. So there's plays that we can call to offset that. You got this defensive end beating the snot out of our guy. Okay, let's call some plays. Let's make some plays. Call some plays to slow this guy down. And it's like you're looking at what's happening to you, and you're not, like you said, you're not adjusting to anything. You're just going to stay in your offensive scheme. You're looking at that piece of paper. At the end of the day, put that damn piece of paper down. You got somebody upstairs looking at it. Okay, let's now adjust to what they're doing. Let's adjust to what they're successful at against us right now, rather than saying, okay, we're going to run these plays regardless.
Well, and you got to do stuff that will back the pass rush off.
Yes, you do.
Because right now, every play, the other team's in a pass rush, even if they think it's a run.
Yeah, Mike, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
So it's frustrating because we're capable of running middle screens, draws, those things, and you look, the tight end, the tight end, tight end's wide open, and keep going to him, because they're not stopping it. You something is working, you keep going to it, you make them stop it. They're not stopping it. There's no need to get fancy, none of that. Let's pick some plays that's working. These plays are not working. And a lot of times, because of the offensive tackles, they're not going to work because physically our offensive tackles are going to be outmatched. They're going to lose that battle, period, bar none. So at the end of the day, you have to adjust. Get somebody to chip on this guy. Try and do some things, because I can imagine those offensive tackles, Mike, their morale has to be as low as you can get if you are a competitor. If you are a competitor, if you're a competitive person, not only a competitive football player, if you're a competitive person, your morale has to be so low because you are getting your ass kicked every week. So at some point in time, you want to, okay, this is not going to happen. This, at some point, I would think just being a competitor that you're going to feel that way, and you're going to get better. But unfortunately, we're not seeing that from the offensive line play.
Yeah, and then, of course, the Bengals decided they were going to try to make a trade. And, of course, what's the best thing you could do to fix this team would be to trade for an offensive tackle or an offensive lineman. But no, they're looking at trading for 2 draft picks and A.J. McCarron. And I guess the Browns screwed that up, Joe.
Wow. It's I grew up with Hugh Jackson in Los Angeles, quarterback with Dorsey High School, and it's just something is just not right up there.
It's a mess, and it's been like that for 20 years.
It's crazy that you would botch a bona fide trade and you botch it because you didn't submit the paperwork in time. And it goes to show, why they haven't won a game, why they've only won one game, the last 2 years.
Yeah, they've won one game in 2 years. I'm to the point where I hope they fire Hugh just so he doesn't have to be embarrassed anymore by him.
Yeah.
Because it's sad, Joe. I mean, they're a mess. I mean, we think the Bengals, they're worse than what the Bengals in the 90s were.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And that's hard to be.
Yeah. And, at the end of the day, I think A.J. McCarron should be, thinking the football baby Jesus right now. Because to me, I don't care who they put behind the center. That's how bad they are.
Yeah, he's going to get the hell beat out of him, and then he's not going to be able to get a free agent contract. Where this way, maybe the Browns overpaying, because I also heard Sam Darnold, who most people think is the best quarterback prospect coming out in the draft, has also said that if Cleveland's the number one pick, he's staying in school.
Yeah. Because it doesn't matter. Because, I mean, you look at all the quarterbacks that you have, and they've all had different skill sets. You had a runner, you had a passer, you had a scrambler.
Yeah, and none of them work, and there has to be a reason other than all those guys sucked.
Because you're talking about guys who were pretty successful at big college programs. I didn't take go out on a wing and prayer and hope that a Carson Wentz. The Carson Wentz, those are every 10 years you get a guy at North Dakota and with that caliber of play and comes up to this level and dominate and plays as well as Carson Wentz has played. But those guys, every one of those guys that Cleveland has put behind that center, they've been quality guys from quality schools with great competition.
Yeah, and that's since 1998, 99?
Yeah, so, you look at it, man, and, it's tough. With the Bengals, like you said, okay, the trade didn't happen, but at the end of the day, you look at the trade. Mike, you trade A.J. McCarron for 2 future draft picks as opposed to saying, let's because the season is not over. Let's Seattle. Seattle plays Houston, and right at the game they trade and they get the veteran.
Yeah, and they get a left tackle.
Yeah, because they're still trying to salvage their season. They still have hope. There is no way on this planet that anybody in that Bengals front office, back office, side office, stadium can look at this team and not think that they need improved offensive line play.
Well, Marvin said in his press conference he thinks that they'll improve as the year goes on.
Well, I guess that's the politically correct thing to say.
I know. I mean, Marvin has turned into, instead of a football coach, he's turned into a politician.
Yeah, you look at Mike. Come on, man. You know football. I know football. You look at it, and we're at the end of the day, Mike. The interior offensive line play is horrible.
Yeah, they all suck, and the center's been there for 3 or 4 years, and Alexander's like, "Oh, Bodine's great. He's going to be good," and it never happens.
No, you look at the offensive tackle play has been so bad. It's
so bad. Andre Smith and gets into games now.
Yeah,
And Andre Smith is not a tackle. I mean, he weighs like 600 pounds, it looks like.
Yeah. Put him in the game. And
what they did last week, and he got beat a couple times pretty bad, too. Yeah. It's just he's the best of the 3, but that's not saying much.
Yeah, he's the best of the 3, but, why are you running this 335-pound guy in and out like he's a wide receiver? You see what I'm saying? Because offensive lineman, that's a long damn way, Mike.
Yeah, I ain't seen that since Paul Brown used the old messenger guards in the 50s with the Browns.
Oh, yeah, but those guys weren't 335 pounds.
No, those guys were 250, 240.
Yeah, so, you're saying, okay, you're making this, he's running it. Come on, man. Bring the big boy in, bring the big boy in and let him play a series. If you're gonna move him in and out, let him stay in for the series. Rather than running in and out like
my guess is he's out of gas by the time he gets to the huddle.
Exactly, Mike. That's my point.
I know. I mean, hell. I had the knee surgery. I haven't been able to do anything for a year, and I've gained like 50 or 60 pounds. And if I run 20 yards, I'm going to be spent.
Right.
And my guess is in the last year, I probably worked out about as much as he has. That's just a guess, though. And I don't think he's seen 335 in a while, Joe.
Oh man, I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt, man. Like a couple biscuits here and there.
I know. I'm just tired of watching them play. I mean, they're bad. I mean, he's like the heavy version, to be nice, of Cedric Ogbuehi. I mean, they don't move their feet that well. They don't pass that well. And I'm sorry, but with a guy that big, Ogbuehi's been here for, a couple of years now? You're telling me if Paul Alexander can't make an offensive lineman out of a kid like that, and he keeps playing him, that's not even on the kid anymore. To me, it's on Alexander.
Yeah, I mean, totally. You would look at you, like you said, you could take a kid with that size, that speed, that coordination, that by this time that you would start seeing him getting better. And he is totally not getting better, in my opinion.
No, and he may even be worse just because of the confidence issue.
Yeah. You know, I'm like I said, I'm still seeing a guy whiff. I'm seeing you whiff on running plays. On running plays, the guy is right in front of you. All you have to do is
I've seen guys cross his face and make the tackle.
Yes, and you know he I'm looking at him and the player's over and all he's doing is looking at this guy make the tackle. He's not. It's not like he's okay. The guy he's beat now. He's running and trying to knock the guy off on the side, or he's down.
Yeah, at least spear the guy in the back because he's pissed off he got beat.
Yes.
That may sound bad, but sometimes a 15-yard penalty is not a bad thing.
Yeah, but you know what? And if you're doing that in the interior play, 99% of the time they're not going to call it.
No, and at least you get to hit somebody at some point.
Yeah. Act like you want to hit somebody. At
least act like you want to play football.
Yeah. So,
because right now he looks like a power forward in the NBA.
Yeah. Well, we
all know them NBA guys can't fight to save them lives, but
the head guy.
Except you're from LA, so Maurice Lucas used to be able to fight, though.
Yes, well, Maurice Lucas was a different breed, Maurice.
Yeah, he could throw down.
And he probably would have been a good tight end. He was a mean guy. He
might have been a better boxer even.
Tough guy. He was a tough guy.
That's when the NBA was good. You get the playoffs, you get at least a couple fights in a 7-game series.
Oh yeah. Man.
And like that crap today where they just run around and shoot threes.
And cry.
Yeah.
And get touched. Yeah, so
and I do want to send my condolences to you and your LA Dodgers.
Oh, Mike, it was I was prepared. I was down in the man cave yesterday, man. I know,
I saw the pictures, Joe.
Oh man, and at the end of the day, you just got to give Houston credit. But Mike, when you look at it, every inning except one inning, we had 2 people on base at least every inning. And the ball just didn't go our way. You're hitting balls and they're going right to the guy. Those are milliseconds. It
was basically, I think it was 2 completely evenly matched teams, and that Game 7 just came down to whose night it was.
Yeah, exactly. And that was their night. And I said in the first inning, Darvish is done. Darvish is done. They were connecting. Their hits were too solid. He was done. But at the end of the day, I'm saying this is. If you look at what the Houston Astros manager did, he was quarterbacking this thing. He wasn't going to lose this thing. If you looked like you were going to make a pitch bat, you were out. He was going to make changes. And unfortunately, I love our.
Yeah, if I was the Dodgers, I'd have started Kershaw on short rest.
You should have. You see, he came in and he had a pitch.
It's just because he's Kershaw. It's just like, if Houston would have had problems, Justin Verlander would have been in there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, definitely. You see, they had him in the bullpen.
If they'd got a runner or 2 on the ninth, you'd have solved Justin Verlander to save that game.
I think that we would have saw Justin Verlander, earlier had, bases loaded, no outs.
Oh, yeah. I don't think they had a problem with giving him the last 4 innings if they had to.
Yeah. We had guys on first and third. We had the 3 innings, first and third, no outs. We don't get a run. I thought we had some capable guys on the bench. Culberson, Bellinger, Bellinger, Singer, they just weren't seeing the ball. They weren't seeing the ball.
Well, and the Dodgers in 1965, that was the great Sandy Koufax. I think on 2 days rest went to Minnesota and threw like a one-hit shutout to win 1-0.
Yeah, yes. Sandy was in the first row.
He don't look that old either.
No, he looks good. Man. So we got a young team. Still, you still got Kershaw is still in his prime. Jensen is still in his prime. Puig, I like Puig. He saw the ball a lot better than last year and the beginning of this year. Seeing the ball. You're talking his ball. His ball was 2 feet. 2 more feet, it would have been a home run. 3-run homer. And that changes your morale. 5-4. Game's 5-4. Instead of 5-1. But it is what it is. Houston deserved. They played their played the tails off, man. And
I got to admit, Joe, I was cheering for the Astros just because I was a Red fan in the '70s, and the Reds and the Dodgers absolutely hated each other.
Yeah.
I still don't like the Dodgers because of Tommy Lasorda. He's not even there anymore.
Yeah, man.
And Steve Garvey. I couldn't stand Steve Garvey.
Yeah.
Of course, as a Reds fan, I couldn't stand Pete Rose either. So.
Yeah.
But, all right, Joe, we'll wrap it up for this week, and hopefully we can come back next week and talk about a team that surprised us and is now 4-4 with 2 winnable road games before they play the Steelers.
Yeah. That would be good, man. That would be a sight for sore eyes, man. We definitely need we need this. We need every game right now is.
Well, I mean, hell, Joe, they came out and they beat Buffalo.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Buffalo. And
Buffalo's a good team.
Buffalo's a good team. And we could have beat Buffalo a lot worse than we did, but at the end of the day, man, we beat them. We're capable of beating all these guys that we have on our schedule the next 3 games.
Yeah, but it's the NFL. Everybody's capable of beating everybody. It's just according to who's coached to do it.
Right. Exactly.
And so when we have the show on who should be the next Bengals coach, is Hugh Jackson on the board there?
I think he is, because I think honestly that this is it. There's no
but is he on the board if he's 2 years in Cleveland and he's like 2-26?
I still because I think when he first got there, there was a total wholesale on every player that was decent. And then you're getting rid of.
Yeah, but once they got rid of both of those guys, Joe, they didn't really replace them.
No, I'm saying you're getting rid of our line. You're getting rid of your core guys, and I would think that you're doing this to establish some kind of identity. You look at their offense doesn't have an identity. Their defense doesn't have an identity. There's no tough guys. I'm saying you're not a fast team. You're not an overly physical team. I think they are totally. They neither side of the ball. They have any kind of identification. You don't know what they are. This is like those guys. They just go out and they're playing. Rec football, it's bad. But I think with his ties here to Cincinnati, I think his relationship he has with the core guys that are still here, that we have. I would think that you would have to bring a kid, a guy like Hugh Jackson in. Because
what I would really like, Joe, is nothing against Hugh, but I would like somebody that has had absolutely nothing to do with this organization before.
And you know what, Mike? The thing, knowing Mike Brown, I don't think Mike Brown is going to bring in,
I don't think he is either, but that's what Bruce Arians, I think, may be available. I think he would be great.
Yeah, but I don't think that they're going to bring in, a guy like.
Oh, neither do I. I mean, I would settle for Jim Haslett just because I know he'll yell at some people.
Yeah. Jim Haslett is an option.
And he did a decent job with the Saints, didn't he?
Yeah,
from what I remember.
Yes, and Saints. Redskins. He's the D coordinator. Jim's a tough guy, man. He's been around. He's been around football for a long time.
But in the end, also the question is this: does Hugh Jackson want to go from being the head coach with the Browns to being the head coach here with Mike Brown?
I think after this year, you're pretty certain that he's going to lose his job. And I think any time you lose a job and you're over and someone offers you a head coaching job, that's a great situation.
Yeah, but the problem is this. If you go to the Bengals and you lose, you'll never get another chance.
Well, at the end of the day. Of
course, the Browns may make it so the only chance he could ever have would be here.
Yeah. I mean, you look at it, but that's football, man. You win, you stay. You lose, you look at all the coaches. All those coaches that lost and that were head coaches. Their career offensive coordinators, and defensive coordinators, and
except for Marvin. Marvin's got to lose and keep his job. Jeff Fisher got to lose for a long time and keep his job.
For a long time. Yeah.
Outside of those two guys, everybody else gets fired in a year or two.
Yeah, and it's the organization that you're with that totally allowed that because, like you said, Marvin. You look at Lovie Smith when he was at Chicago.
Lovie Smith's a good football coach.
Yeah, but we went to the playoffs. And won a couple games, but they
went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and it wasn't good enough, and they fired him. And you see, since Lovie's left Chicago, what they have. They're always competitive. They're up there, but at the end of the day,
I think he's at the University of Illinois now, isn't he?
Yeah, he's there, and good friend of mine, Hardy Nickerson, Hall of Fame linebacker, is the D coordinator there. They're struggling. They're struggling with that Tampa 2 in college. It's a difference, but we're still guys, nothing but luck. They are, great coach, and Hardy Nickerson has become a really good coach also.
Well, I just hope someday to beat Ohio State. I can't stand Ohio State, so.
Wow.
I can't help it. I know there's a lot of Ohio State fans listening, and I apologize, but it's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Ohio State football and Kentucky basketball, they both drive me nuts.
You're in Ohio State, Kentucky. You're in their country. We're in their country, Mike. So
I live in Indiana, Joe. I just visit Ohio State, Ohio, and Kentucky.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
But I hate the Colts also, so I got the trifecta. But we're going to go ahead and wrap the show up for this week. Make sure you come back next week when we talk about the Bengals, who played out of their mind and beat the Jaguars. Are you picking this game, Joe? You picking the Bengals?
I'm going to pick it. Mike, I'm going to go. I think we should win. Score, I don't know. I think it's going to be a low scoring game, but I think our front seven is going to be challenged with Leonard Fournette. And we're going to have to answer that bill. He's not going to. We're not going to be able to allow him to. If he rushes for 130, 140 yards, guaranteed we're going to lose. So we're going to have to control him. If we can control him, obviously I know we can control Bortles and the rest of the guys. But
yeah, well, I'm going to have to just tell the truth here, Joe. I think the Jaguars beat the Bengals 34-10.
Wow! You're going out on a limb. It's like totally.
I think Blake Bortles will throw for 300 yards on him too. Because I think in the first quarter, Fournette's going to run all over him. I just don't see, and in the end, I don't think it'll be the defense's fault, even though I said all that. It's going to be the offense getting sacked. And I can tell you this, the other prediction I would make, only I wouldn't want to wish that on anybody, especially since I really like him, is it really would surprise me if Andy Dalton makes it through this game in one piece.
Wow. Yeah.
I mean, because he's been banged up, he's been limping around, and this defensive line with Calais Campbell, they can put some pressure on the quarterback. This is not the Colts.
Yeah. No, this is definitely not the Colts. But I still, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go for the Bengals, man. I may be out of my mind, and most likely I am.
Well, I hope I'm completely wrong, Joe.
Yeah, me too. So, because I'm going to the game, Mike. So, that's a long game when your team is running up and down the field on you. So hopefully you're wrong, and hopefully it's competitive.
Yeah, but you know what? Even if the other team's running up and down the field on the Bengals, at least you'll be sitting in like 70, 80-degree weather.
80 degrees, baby. 80 degrees.
Well, hey, thanks for asking me to go too, Joe.
Yeah, man.
I'd have bought your wife a birthday present. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah. So we're going to enjoy it. Enjoy the weather, at least.
All right, Joe. Well, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. I want to remind everybody to, if you're in the Cincinnati area, go see Dr. Randall Fick in Springdale, Ohio. Seriously, best chiropractic orthopedic doctor I've been around. He's done some great things for both of my sons who are football players. So I want to remind everybody to check out Dr. Fick. You can hear all of our shows on iHeartRadio, iTunes, TuneIn, Spreaker, wherever you find sports podcasts, you'll find The Grueling Truth. And I want to remind everybody on the Ringside Boxing Show a couple nights ago, we had an interview with heavyweight champion of the world, Deontay Wilder. So make sure you check that out. It was a great interview, funny guy. So make sure you check that on thegruelingtruth.net. You can follow us on Twitter @GruelingTruth. So for Joe Kelly, I'm Mike Goodpaster. You've been listening to The Grueling Truth, where the legends